Right now in Israel, the political winds are shifting, and they are shifting fast. Amidst an ongoing war, a completely different kind of battle is starting to brew at home, a battle for public trust and for political survival. Let's get into it and break down what's really happening. Listen to this. This is from an Israeli citizen, and it really captures a feeling that's just getting louder and louder across the country. After weeks of fighting, a lot of people feel like the results are falling way short of what their leaders promised. It's just a powerful, raw expression of frustration. And this isn't just a feeling. This frustration, it's showing up in the hard data. The polls are telling a pretty clear story about the political fallout. So let's just start with a headline number, right? Prime Minister Netanyahu's approval rating has dropped to just 34%. I mean, that's a big drop from the 40% he had at the start of the war. But that erosion of support, well, that's just the beginning. It's tied directly to how the public sees the conflict itself. And when you ask the public about the war, wow, the numbers are just incredibly stark. A huge 90% of Israelis do not see it as a success. Only 10% think it's achieved its goals. That paints a picture of really widespread national disappointment. So this discontent, it's not just about policy anymore. It's getting personal. It's about trust. A majority of Israelis, 52%, now say they just flat out distrust the prime minister. This has moved beyond strategy. It's become a crisis of credibility. And this really drives home that credibility gap. Almost half the population, 47%, say they don't believe the official story they're being told. When a leader loses the public's belief on that kind of scale, it's a huge political red flag. Okay, so we've seen the numbers, right? But why? What's the thinking behind them? Let's take a look at what people on the ground actually believe is motivating the government's actions right now. This quote right here, it really points to this growing, almost cynical belief that the war is being kept alive, not for the good of the country, but for political self-preservation. The idea that the conflict itself has become a tool to hold onto power. Now, of course, this public feeling isn't happening in a vacuum. It's being amplified by the political opposition, and it's being complicated by outside pressures. It's creating a kind of perfect political storm. Well, as you can imagine, political rivals are absolutely seizing on this moment of discontent. Their argument is simple, but really powerful. The prime minister overpromised and underdelivered. It's a classic line of attack, basically framing this whole situation as a direct failure of leadership. And then you've got another layer complicating things, the perception that major decisions are being heavily influenced, if not made, in Washington. That just adds fuel to the fire, this feeling that the government isn't fully in the driver's seat. So with all this going on, trust is eroding. Political pressure is just mounting. Can the prime minister actually turn this around? We looked at what one political analyst had to say about his long-term prospects. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, think about it. He was already behind in the polls before the war, and he's still behind now. Is there any path back to public favor? Well, the analyst's assessment is just blunt. They basically say his ability to control the narrative has completely collapsed. The feeling is that this isn't just a temporary dip. It's a fundamental break with the public, something that might just be impossible to fix. Okay, so where does all of this leave us? What does this mean for the future? It seems pretty clear that the next chapter in Israeli politics is really just getting started. I think the really crucial takeaway here is this. Even if the military conflict slows down or pauses, that internal political battle is just heating up. The pressure is on, and the political fallout is becoming impossible to ignore. But, and this is a really important thing to remember, we're talking about a leader who has weathered so many political storms before. He's a polarizing figure, for sure, but he is known for his remarkable ability to survive one crisis after another. Not many people are ready to count him out just yet. And that leaves us with the final critical question. With public trust this low and the discontent this high, has something fundamentally changed? Is this the one crisis that even a master political survivor can't overcome?